Welcome to From the Trenches, success shortcuts revealed by real-world innovators crushing it right now. I'm your host, Scott Hartley, and we're back with another episode packed with actionable strategies from today's most successful entrepreneurs. If you're tired of generic business advice and ready for real cutting-edge tactics that are working right now, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into how to elevate the types of clients you serve and the value you provide without adding more time or hassle. And so I'm excited to have my guest with us today, Manny Torres. Manny is a business growth strategist specializing in helping B2B advisors attract and ascend ideal clients while optimizing their customer value journey. With a wealth of experience in marketing and sales positioning, Manny empowers business owners to simplify and scale their services, enabling them to achieve significant growth. As a certified digital marketer trainer and a certified AI persona method consultant, Manny combines innovative strategies with actionable insights to drive results for his clients. He is passionate about fostering community and collaboration, ensuring that business owners and entrepreneurs can thrive in today's competitive landscape. Manny, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Hey, great to see you, Scott. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so Manny and I are in a mastermind. I've had several of my mastermind members here on the podcast in recent months. So I'm glad to kind of dive in a little bit deeper into what you do and really how, our listeners can grow their business by attracting and serving the types of clients, the ones that we really want to work with, elevating those, but also kind of like improving that value that we can bring to the table as well.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about it and looking forward to sharing some insights with your listeners.
Sure. So just kind of share a little bit of your backstory. Like, how did you get into the role that you're in today, where you're working, with business owners and kind of finding the sweet spot with, using the digital marketing training, becoming the AI persona method certified. Like, how did you land where you're at today?
Yeah, so back in 2013, I started my business with my partner, Kenny Harper. We started the business called Rock My Image. And the reason why we called that is we didn't want to look like everybody else. We wanted to be different. Kenny had a background in music, so it seemed fitting. And essentially, we were helping businesses rock their image, right? Helping them claim their stage. And we did that really well. And as time would progress, we started realizing, hey, it's not just about that. We're also helping them with a strategy. And as we saw the industry start to commoditize, we started leading more with strategy. So that's when we made that shift to changing our name to Growth Amplifier. So it's still got that motif and that theme of music in there, but we're talking more about strategy. And what we found is a lot of business owners, they don't have the strategy. They're doing tactics, they're doing a lot of activity, but they're not seeing an impact their bottom line. So what we've done is help bring the frameworks, the strategies, the processes, so that they can implement those into their business so that they can start to attract those types of clients that they want to work with. So ultimately they can be more profitable in their business.
Yeah. Yeah. When you can, Rock My Image is really a catchy business name, right? It grabs your attention. And I totally agree that, with a lot of services that are being so commoditized, like you really do have to find that way. How do you stand out? And then, of course, once you've figured out how to stand out, how do you grow that or like amplify that? So I love that shift. Now, something that you said there, I think we gloss over it a lot because like you and I in the marketing space, we understand it, but I think there's a lot of people that maybe don't have clarity. And a lot of times I know that I sometimes find myself interchanging two of the words that you used, strategies and tactics. But there really is a difference between those. Can you explain like your perspective on what the difference is?
Sure. A tactic is going to be one thing that you can implement in your business. So if you're doing a social media post, maybe you're going to do polls, right? So that's one tactic that you could use in your business, but that's not going to help you achieve a goal because it's not tied into a strategy. So strategy is a bigger picture process and plan for what you're going to do. It's going to identify what your goal or objective is, and it may have multiple tactics along the way that are going to help you achieve the overall goal. So both are really important. Sometimes you got to test tactics to see which one works best for your strategy. And sometimes you have a strategy, maybe you need to make adjustments along the way. But having that bigger picture strategy ensures that you're staying aligned with what your business objectives are so that you're getting the end result that you want. not just a vanity metric where maybe you're getting a lot of likes, you're getting some, comments, but you're not really moving the needle in terms of your business growth.
Yeah, that's a great distinction. And so I just wanted to make sure that we kind of clarified that, because a lot of times we can just muddy the waters and think that we have a strategy when in actuality it's a tactic that we have. And of course, like you said, tactics can change. So something else that you mentioned as well is, having frameworks. And, we've heard a lot about that. A lot of my guests on here have talked about frameworks. Can you dive into, some of the frameworks that you use with some of your clients that have made some shifts for them?
Yeah, so the main one that we use initially, especially with attracting our ideal clients, is our growth framework. And this is something that we learned from Ryan Dice with Digital Marketer, and it's a great way to communicate your marketing journey for your client. It's called the customer value journey. And essentially it's laying out the 8 steps from the very first time that ideal client knows about your business all the way until they're a raving fan. And what tends to happen in business is people look to try and skip steps. And in human behavior, when we do this, it's obvious, right? So if you're walking down a street and someone comes up and hugs you that you don't know, you're going to push them off, right?
Right.
Business, we do this all the time. It's the first time we meet, whether it's in person at a networking event. It's like, hey, if you need insurance, give me a call. And it's like, whoa, dude, we just met. Or, in terms of online marketing, we're sending the very first message on LinkedIn and it says, hey, if you need these services, contact me. But we're skipping a lot of steps. So what the growth framework that we use helps you do is identify those 8 steps. So you seamlessly and subtly guide your prospect and your client through the stages. So not only are they becoming a customer or client of yours, but now you're ascending them. You're getting them to become an advocate. You're getting them to become a promoter. And at each of these stages, the important part of our framework isn't that you have something there, but it's a system and a process that can be consistent. And what that allows you to do is optimize it over time.
Yeah. So if you can kind of give us a peek behind the curtain, what are the 8 steps? We don't have to go deep into those, but what are the 8 steps of that customer journey?
Yeah. So our first step is aware, right? You've got to be able to have awareness with your target audience. And again, in each of these stages, we're thinking about our target audience, not just anybody, because we want to attract the type of people we want to work with and repel the ones that we don't want to work with. Our next stage is engage. So we're taking a glance and turning it into a stare. So imagine, again, human behavior. If you see someone, now you're starting to engage with them. Maybe you're interacting a little bit more. What this looks like in marketing would be likes, comments, share, consuming content. Next, we move into our subscribe stage. And this is where you're going to capture their information. Because up until this point, you're pushing stuff out, but you really don't know if they're getting it. But once you get that contact information, now you know that you're able to communicate to them on a one-to-one basis. Now, whether or not they consume it, you don't know, but at least you're building that list. And also you're providing something of value. Next step is convert. So now we're taking somebody and they're having a chance to either spend a little bit of time or a little bit of money with you. And initially, this is like a first date. So it's that first time that they're testing you out. They're seeing what you're about. And if we go back to that human behavior, in that first date, if you're doing things above and beyond what they expect, you're creating a great experience. So that shifts us into our next stage, excite, where you're really dovetailing all the things that make you unique. You're positioning them in a way that you're delivering a aha or a wow experience where they're amazed, but they also have an understanding of what value you can provide to them. And what that does is it sets up the next logical step, which is our ascend stage. So that's where you offer your core service. And now that they've got their core service in that ascend stage, we're looking to get them to buy more frequently, buy more, retain, increase their retention in terms of how long they're a client with you. So you're sending that customer so that they're more valuable for you. From there, we move to our advocate stage. So again, these are systems where we're getting them to have reviews, testimonials, case studies on a consistent basis. And then our final stage is our promoter stage. So not only are we getting referrals, but we're giving tools and resources. I know you have a great affiliate program. So those are great ways that you can leverage your clients to be able to have them go out and find more ideal clients, because the best person to bring an ideal client to you is one of your existing ideal clients. And the great part about that is that dovetails all the way right back into the aware stage, because as a referral is referred to you, now they're aware of you, and that starts that journey all over again.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you mentioned, right at the very beginning, that awareness stage, that you're focusing on your ideal customer, ideal client. And, again, listeners, if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, almost every single episode has had some reference to you need to understand your ideal customer. I know for myself, like I've been rethinking, like, okay, I need to go deeper on understanding who my ideal customer is and really get to know that person. What are their interests? Who really are they? Where do they hang out? What are their pain points? What are their problems? And once I get that insight, then that makes that entire customer journey process so much smoother, right? Um, when you're working with your business clients, and you've got those 8 stages, and you start with the aware and the engage, and you move them through all the way to that, where do you find that your clients have probably focused most of their time, where they've got a pretty good stage set up, and where do you find that most people are lacking in that process?
Right. So where most people are doing pretty well is if they get in front face to face, like a consultation, they're able to do a good job of communicating what they do and being able to transfer that into a sale. So those are those uh, ascend, excite, and convert stages. But
Hmm.
what we see is at each of those stages, they really don't have a system in place, and then they don't have a mechanism to help those people get to those stages. So, for instance, in that convert stage, a lot of people have consultation, but they're not branding it, right? They're not talking specifically to who they're looking to communicate with, and they're not putting it in a way that says, here's the value that you're going to come away with by having this time with me. So, by
Hmm.
doing that and by really communicating that, that helps set up that excite stage where you're able to not only deliver, but then you're able to show them that roadmap of what's possible. So, for instance, in our business, we do something that's called calculating success. So, we have a business breakthroughs, our consultation, and
Hmm.
during that, we walk through those opportunities, the ways that they can improve, and then we provide them a formula. Here's how you can calculate success. So it shares them. Here's where you could go. And oh, by the way, if you need help getting there, we're the ones to help you get there because we've already set up all these elements, tools, templates, processes, frameworks that help you
Hmm.
get there to make it easier and faster.
Nice. And then, are there any stages that you found that businesses just like totally overlook, that they don't have in place?
You know, I think there's a lot that they do. A lot are doing aware strategies or tactics, I would say more so, and engage. Subscribe is one that's definitely a shortcoming for a lot of people because, especially in our niche, they typically work from referrals, so they're not actively looking to market, and they're missing a big opportunity because a lot of the CPAs and accountants that we work with, they may have 200, 300 clients that they work with, and that doesn't even include other people that they've had as prospective clients. And
Hmm.
they don't communicate on a regular basis in terms of what are those services they offer, ways that they can help their business clients grow more, be more profitable. And some of these CPAs, they may have 300 people that do tax returns with them, and they may offer tax planning, but they've never communicated it. So they don't have that list. They don't have a process for engaging those people to that next step. So we talk about how do you engage, enroll, and ascend. So engaging, much like you talked about before, identifying what things are important to them, enroll them in the possibilities of what could be, and then ascend them into that actual opportunity.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you point out, because I have a lot of conversations in the email marketing world with a lot of people that say, but my busy season, so CPAs, it's like, oh, my busy season is, from January to April, and getting everybody's tax returns. What am I going to tell people about the rest of the year? What am I going to communicate via email? But like you said, there's a lot of other services that we're often so close to our business that it's just commonplace for us, and we don't realize, like, oh, our customers don't realize that we do this. And so we do have those opportunities where we can share and provide value year round, and let them know, and educate them on different facets of what we provide. So with the clients that you work with, and especially like the CPAs and the accountants, once you've guided them through, this entire customer journey, and you've identified here are the opportunities that you have to plug the gaps and really move somebody through all 8 of those stages. What are the type of results that you see happen for those businesses?
Yeah, the biggest result is starting to work with more of the people that they want to work with. As you've probably seen before, it's like a catch 22 of, you're getting business, but it's not what you want, but you can't get rid of them because you need business. And we see a lot of these accountants, they have trouble clients that they're spending 80% of their time with that are equate to like 20% of their revenue. So we want to make that shift so that they're getting more of those ideal clients. The other thing that we're helping them achieve is we're helping them find something that they can leverage in their business that isn't tied to their time. So rather than we're just doing tax returns or we're just doing bookkeeping, what's a transformative program that you can create that you can enroll more people in, where it's either one to many or it's a do it yourself or some other facet where they can start to elevate their profitability without having to spend a lot more time or effort to do that.
Mm-hmm. And that's really kind of like I think that's the goal that all of us in business want to have. We want to work with the clients that we love to work with, and we want to do it without having to invest a lot of time and energy, in delivering the services that actually provide the value to our clients. So when it comes to like shedding those clients that we don't want to have, is that kind of like a natural byproduct as you're building out this customer journey, or is there something else that people need to kind of consider around that?
Yes, I think every business is going to be a little bit different in terms of how they approach that. Some will say, hey, I'm just going to chop it off and it's time and I want to move forward. Others may do a more progression in terms of, hey, this year we're going to increase the prices. The ones that fall by the wayside, they fall by the wayside. Some will increase their prices for new accounts, but not for legacy. So each one is a little bit different based on the threshold that someone is comfortable with. But I think the big thing is as they start to see they're working with more of those ideal clients, it builds confidence. And once they have that confidence, they don't have that fear anymore of being able to release someone else. The other thing that happens is we encourage them to build relationships with other people in their industry. That way, if that client's a better fit for someone else. So the more that you understand who you work with and you start to understand who other people work with, now you can start to build those strategic referral partners where you can say, hey, I've got this client. They need a lot of these services that really aren't a fit for me. I'd love for them to work with you. And whether that's a commission-based relationship or just a straight referral, that's something that each person can decide. But now you're starting to work in a better way. And not only are you helping someone else out, but you're also communicating to those people who's a great fit for you. So that brings another avenue of incoming ideal clients for you when they come across that type of prospect.
Sure. Yeah. Now, if we've got listeners that are, like thinking like, man, that's a lot of stuff that I have to build. There's 8 steps, 8 facets of that business. What's kind of been your experience in working with your clients in helping them map out that customer journey and then build out the things? Is it, does it take them 5 years, 10 years? Is it something that they can do in 3 months? Like what's kind of your average time frame on that?
Yeah, so we work to get those implemented in 90 days in terms of getting the bare bones elements in place. What we've done is we've taken each of those stages and we've created templates and processes for our ideal client so that they don't have to, think about it. They don't have to create it from scratch, but they're just making adjustments based on what we've already created. What we've also done is created a program. So it's a framework that they can use if they want to be an advisor that provides advisory services to clients. Here's a way that you can use our framework and be able to communicate this to your clients and then be able to offer those services and know that you can implement it. And a lot of times there's these things that these accountants know, but they're just not used to doing marketing and sales. And it's not something that they're comfortable with. So by having these tools and resources and templates available, it makes it much easier for them. And of course, with AI now too, that helps speed up this process. Where in the past, we may do a 4 hour session to be able to extract a lot of the information that we need. Now we can start to use AI to get that a lot quicker. And a lot of times it's even more accurate because AI is pulling from a lot of reference points. Whereas the person, if I ask you a question, even if you know it, you may sit here and be like, this, but if AI comes and gives you 10 items and you say, yeah, 8 of those are perfect, let's take 2 out. It's a lot easier to edit than it is to create.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was kind of going to lead me to the next thing, so you're a certified AI persona method consultant. Can you kind of describe what that is and how you've incorporated that into helping your clients with the customer journey?
Sure. So an AI persona is essentially using AI to create a role for AI to participate in your business. So for instance, email marketing. If you really wanted to improve your email marketing, but you didn't have the expertise or someone on your team or the revenue to be able to go out and hire a specialist like yourself or someone to work on that, you can use AI to create a persona that's going to help you improve what you're doing. Now, we're going to get to the level, well, I won't say never, but it's not going to get to the level of a high paid copywriter. But what it's going to help you do is at least get you to the baseline. You'll improve. You can start to build from it. And the big thing that we do in terms of how we frame this is we provide the setup and how you can create it. And we work with a business to set that up in their office so that either their team members, their VAs, their partners can use those based off of strategies that we use. So a lot of times I'm able to pull in templates and examples and benchmarks from either my digital marketer experience, my Dan Kidney experience, so that it has a reference point to be able to produce something that is effective. And now those people don't have to create it from scratch. They can use this tool and it's able to help them improve the output that they're getting in their business and also reduce the amount of time that they're using to create that.
Yeah, it's really amazing, how we can leverage AI to help us advance our business and set ourselves apart. I know that I'm in several groups where we focus a lot on AI, and something that you mentioned there is really, really important. I mean, anybody can go get a Chat GPT account, right? Or a Claude account, whatever that you want. And out of the box, I mean, it can be fairly good. I mean, it can give you insights that you wouldn't have otherwise, or maybe that wouldn't be quite as apparent. But to get the best results out of it, what you mentioned of feeding it information, that this is what I'm looking for. So you mentioned Dan Kennedy, the digital marketer stuff. If you can give it examples from those areas and say, this is the type of output that I want you to model, and it's got this information, this framework, whatever, like, wow, you're light years ahead. And most people who are using AI don't even give any thought to that. So the businesses that take it to that next level and leverage the AI in that way, it just sets you apart and gives you a leg up.
Definitely. And the great thing is you don't have to have those benchmark examples in your business, but as you go, you can start to customize what the output is. Now those become your own data set that's made specifically for your business. So it keeps getting better over time. And so I encourage, our clients, my team members, it's as you start to make improvements, that becomes a new benchmark. The other thing I'd like to mention with that is not just taking what it gives you. So we train our team, our clients' employees, their team members, is once it comes out, we've got a checklist of things to review. So it's refining it. It's looking for errors, identifying some of the common things that we see in AI so that once you get that improved, now it's ready to go out. So don't just take what comes out. It's doing 80% of the work. You can do 20.
Right.
Be lazy. Do a
Yeah.
little bit of that work so that you get something that's really great and sets your business apart.
Yeah. And I know that, in our mastermind, we've had some of our members that have used AI for different things. And there's been conversations, where we're giving each other feedback. And it's like, okay, a question that I will always ask is like, did you use AI to help write this? Because it has some telltale signs. And so once you become knowledgeable of that, then you can start to train your AI so that it doesn't have those telltale signs and it's even more impactful. And I like the fact that, I mean, a lot of people when AI came out, like they were afraid of like, oh my gosh, this is going to take over all of our jobs and, make a lot of things, a lot of people that they're going to have to find something else to do. But really AI it's just a tool, and it's not going to be perfect, like you said. And we still have to do some of that work. But it can help expedite us making it to the next level or getting to that next goal that we want, as opposed to trying to have to do everything on our own.
I agree. I did a workshop for a Fortune 500 company, and it was, a big group, probably 30, 40 people in there. And I was really surprised how few of them had used AI much. I think the IT person, a couple of people in marketing had used it, but a lot of people hadn't. And we went through the workshop. We actually had them do a few exercises just to share how easy it was to use it. And at the end, there was a guy who was actually retiring the next couple of weeks. And he's like, I never thought I'd use it, but in between breaks, I went in and I did this, and I'm so excited. And he's like using it for all these different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really encouraged because he realized it wasn't something difficult. He was able to pull up on his phone, get started. And the great thing is we shared a framework of how he could use it so
Mm-hmm.
that it makes it easy to understand.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as we kind of wrap up here, kind of going back to the customer journey, if somebody is listening to this today and they're like, okay, I'm pretty sure that I don't have all 8 stages of that customer journey nailed down, what's probably one of the best starting stages for somebody to really look at that's going to move the needle in their business? Because it may not necessarily be the awareness stage that needs the most work that's going to move it. It might be the referral stage, or the advocate stage. So where do you typically recommend that people start to examine that's going to make the most impact?
Yeah, so we always encourage to start at the ascend stage and work backwards
Okay.
for first initial stages. The reason is if you don't know or have clarity on what your offer is, it's going to be really hard to look at the other stages. And again, as you mentioned earlier, the first thing is really to understand your customer, know who that ideal client is. We call it an avatar, because that's what's going to dictate a lot of the information that's in those stages. So once you got that offer, you can start to move backwards. All right, if I've got this offer, how in a consultation can I set it up so that they're likely to take this offer? How do I deliver that aha moment where they have an understanding of what value I provide, and they also see that I'm the one that can provide it? And then you can move backwards through those stages and start to identify each stage something that you can do to help move them to the next stage. And I think that's something that's also important. We're not looking to make them jump from stage 1 to stage 5.
Yeah.
It's one step to help them move to that next step.
Mm-hmm. And that baby step is really important, because we turn a lot of people off when we want them to go from just becoming aware of us to like, hey, let's do business with our highest ticket program, right? But it's those baby steps of building that relationship so that they begin to feel confident, they trust us, they respect us, and they're confident that we can deliver on what we say that we're going to do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that people can go through stages quickly. So there's still
Yeah.
an opportunity for that hyperactive buyer to
Yeah.
jump quickly, because they may get awareness, engage, and subscribe all in like one sitting. And you
Mm-hmm.
can have an option in there for if someone wants to move faster. So whether that's an upsell page or just a conversation where it's like, hey, are you ready to go today? Let's get it going.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, I know that you've got a resource that can kind of help people with some of the things that we talked about today. Do you want to share just a little bit about that and where they can go grab that?
Yes. So our framework is based off of 3 things. So it's that growth framework that I talked about, which is that customer value journey. We also talk about having a transformational program. So that's how you can ensure that you have a way to grow your business profitably. And then we have guidance and accountability, right? So that's ensuring that you're making progress. So we've got a resource. It's called our Advisors Playbook. So it talks about those items, gives you some training, some tools, some resources. And if you go to growthamplifiers.com/amplify, you'll be able to get that resource.
Okay. And I know, we've talked about like your services are really targeted towards CPAs and accountants, but I'm assuming that this is a resource that could be easily adapted to any B2B, B2C type of service.
It is, yeah, it's universal. The reason why we work with accountants and advisors is because we know that they work with business owners. This gives us a way to provide value to them. They can pass it on to their clients. So that way we're impacting more business owners.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me today, Manny. That's all for today's episode of From the Trenches. And before we wrap up, I want to make sure to remind you to go download your complimentary advisors playbook at growthamplifiers.com/amplify. And if you're not in a place where you can write down that URL, we'll put the link into the show notes and you can go check it out there. And if you're looking to supercharge your email marketing, check out my book, Hit the Inbox, at hittheinboxbook.com. It's packed with 76 pages of strategies to get your emails landing in inboxes and driving sales. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. It helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you. And until next time, keep crushing it in the trenches.